Hey everyone, it's the Sith Justice Warriors coming at you on a lovely Memorial Day Monday with your hosts, Jaded Fan and Princess Lumpia.
Hey, happy Memorial Day, everyone.
Yeah, happy time in terms of like trying to. Hopefully, everyone got together to get to enjoy time with family. I think a lot of people tend to get Memorial Day a little mixed up in the sense that Memorial Day is for us, for the United States, remembering the fallen soldiers who have fought to give us the liberties. Veterans Day is the one where we honor our veterans. So we do want to shout out to the military and those who have had family who's served and unfortunately you know lost their life to protect our country. So want to put out a remembrance on that one. But yeah, it's
Exactly.
been a bit of a break because I had my son born. So yeah, he was born on Saturday. So clearly we couldn't get the show running on time. So
Exactly. Well,
yeah,
congratulations. We have a new little fan.
little fan. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Little fan. Maybe I should call him that. Little fan.
Yes.
Um, But yeah, so that being said, let's catch up a little bit before we get to our little topic to quickly finish the Memorial Day weekend. So, Olympia, take it away with the Hollywood stuff.
Really, there's been like bits and bobs of news here and there. But honestly, I mean, for the most part, I think the biggest thing for me coming out this week is the Loki Disney Plus series. I really hope that they stepped it up because considering the subscribership situation they've got going on there, it will be interesting to see how it all works out and whether they really lean in, I will say, um, around this whole Marvel, cinematic universe sort of thing. The other thing that we missed talking about was the trailer for the Eternals. There was a teaser trailer that was released. It's interesting because, I mean, I don't know what to expect from it. I'll still go watch it, but I think for me, the biggest thing was the reaction to it. I believe the director's name is Chloe Zhao, and she won an Academy Award for her work Nomadland recently, and supposedly it's going to be a film that's she's a more artsy film director, so it will be interesting to see how it translates into a superhero movie. Um, but it's a I thought the trailer was a good change of pace from the typical Marvel-esque sort of trailer. However, a lot of people in social media did not react that way either. They actually were kind of like, I don't know, I felt bad because they were kind of like disappointed or whatnot, or just trashing the trailer and like the costumes and everything. And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess I'm being a little bit more open minded, but um, that that was just something that did come through. And then most recently, Disney shifted some of the 2022 and 2023 unnamed releases out. So I don't know what that means for us. We all know Fantastic Four was announced in like one of their, theatrical sort of trailer things. However, like what that means or when it's happening is beyond both of us. So I wonder if Fantastic Four was what they pushed out, especially since there's so many rumors about who's going to be in it. Like, it's not going to be Emily Blunt because she said she was already a superhero, if you count Mary Poppins. Like, so there's just been a lot of noise with that. And so, that was just quite interesting. Of note, actually, I did want to briefly mention this past week Sony announced that they casted Craven the Hunter. To my sadness, it's actually not Keanu Reeves. They're going for someone a little bit on the younger spectrum, but not too young. They casted Aaron Taylor Johnson, who you all remember from Avengers or Captain America. Like, was he? Wait, which one was he first in? Was it Age of Ultron? Yes, it was Age of Ultron,
Well, he was
right?
only in Age of Ultron.
No, but he made a cameo in that kept in the at the end of Captain America, wasn't
I
it?
mean, that's just like 2 seconds.
Okay, fine. I'm not gonna count that.
I mean,
So
you're right,
anyway,
but
anyway, he is going to be playing Craven the Hunter in his own standalone movie, I think. Um it's an interesting casting for me because you know how it goes. I mean, Disney with the Marvel movies, I mean, when they casted Chris Evans as Captain America was a big deal because he was in the Fantastic Four, which at the time was a property of Fox, and Disney, well, Marvel itself ended up, what, didn't they kill him like in the comic books or something? I don't know. Either way, like, it's just one of those interesting situations where you end up casting someone who was in a prior Marvel movie, but they did that with Gemma Chan, who was in Captain Marvel as like a alien, and now she plays an alien again, but in the Eternals. So, um, and it's interesting, I'll flip back to that real quick. People were making comments as well because they were trying to say that her character Gemma Chan's Cersei plays a bigger part than they think, which is interesting because of the situation with Shang-Chi and everything like that, and trying to put more diversity into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But again, more to come. But yeah, the Aaron Taylor Johnson thing was interesting to me because I wasn't sure which way they were going with the Craven the Hunter thing. Is this an origin thing? Is this he's an interesting character in the Spider-Man universe, so it will be interesting to see how he plays out, how it plays out into the Venom, I guess, portion, because if they're going full fledged on this Sinister Six thing, then you know you've definitely you've definitely got to link everything together. So we shall see. But that's it for me. I mean, there's probably more that I'm missing, but for the most part, those were the ones that stuck out. So
yeah. So I actually disagree with you on that Eternals. I didn't think it was horrible, but I thought it was like not great. Um, it's interesting because they've set themselves up to be this lovable characters with the Marvel humor, and then they try to do it at the end with the I now that Captain America's and Tony Stark are gone, who's going to lead the Avengers? And the guy goes, I can lead the Avengers. They're looking at him like, what the frick? I don't know. It actually for me it was like it doesn't do me anything. So I look at it negatively because if you've been consistently hearing me, I'm not sure what is left in the future for Marvel.
mhm.
Um, that I was trying to give it a chance. I mean, the Eternals already with the marketing of what they were trying to do with this whole forced diversity thing, and I mean, lest we forget, a lot of the characters were swapped, right? It's the
Yeah.
typical Hollywood hates the redheads, even though I don't think it's the redhead situation, but it's like if it's a redheaded character, we're gonna replace it with a different look.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, I don't have any emotional connections to the Eternals, so it was kind of like Heimdall. I never noticed Heimdall was an issue, and then I, I see why like a Thor fan got annoyed about that, even though I was happy with Idris Elba, but my problem was that Idris Elba should have been like Blade, or he
He
could have
was
been.
underutilized. Yeah, he
No, but
was
he was.
totally.
Well, it must have been they got Idris Elba on the cheap, and they thought they could just get away with giving him like the fourth tier character. Like Idris Elba should have been like somebody else. That's the best way to put it. Like a
Yeah.
someone meteor, but he has to be like he has to sound British, right? Because he's British and he's cool. But no, but yeah, I didn't think the Eternals was a great trailer. You need to do more to get me back, but and I actually don't know if this is something I'd actually go run to the theaters for, but
Mhm.
maybe they can get me back. The other thing, the Aaron
Taylor Johnson, yeah.
Taylor Johnson thing. I I find this risky because he was just like I know it's been a long time, but he was literally Quicksilver. Now we can make a debate of who is the better Quicksilver because I would say that actually I think you and Sirius kind of like him a little more than me, who I like
What,
Boner.
Ralph Boner?
I like Ralph Boner better. Um, but I I think it'll be interesting to see it. I'm open for that case. I don't know, like he just doesn't seem like this foreboding character that a lot of people that Spider-Man's not my is not my main Marvel squeeze. In one of the sense that I don't know his like lore very much. A lot of people talk about Craven's Last Hunt and all that stuff. I just don't see him as this foreboding, sinister, evil person. But maybe he did really good in the casting uh, sessions. So hence, I'm gonna give him a try. I mean, that's the best I could do. So
Exactly. And
I'll
it might not even come out anytime soon. I mean, all the delays happening, I just feel like you don't know when this is going to really come through and come to fruition. So, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm okay with it. I think I'm more actually. We didn't talk about the Venom one.
Oh, I thought we did. It's been so long that I don't even know what we talked about.
I may have misremembered. I mean, that one I'm more interested in. Which reminds me, I do need to watch Venom, but I I think that's a bit more exciting for me. The
Hmm.
darker Spider-Man universe, but they do mention at the Venom one. They're like, oh, there's references to Toby's. I'm like, oh, Toby, my man, Toby. But I digress. I think that I mean those are my thoughts. I just the Eternals. I don't know what they were trying to make that. Were they trying to make that the like the Watchmen, the Marvel, like Marvel's
Well,
version of
that's
the
the
Watchmen? I
thing,
don't
and
know
this
what they
is
were trying to do.
yeah, this is where I actually agree with like a lot of the critics. Um, like if they existed all this time, and in the trailer it said we've existed all this time and we just don't interfere, but yet in the trailer they're interfering. They're showing people. They're watering the crops. They're giving people weapons. Like, so it's like if you are saying to me you're not interfering, but you are, then how did you not interfere with Thanos when Thanos came for Earth? Like, how did you not think about that? Like, because they could have, like, in the comic book lore, they're all connected to the Celestials, which is Thanos is a deviant, but he's of the Celestial lineage. So I don't know. It's just interesting to me that they just let people get snapped into, because they couldn't interfere. I don't understand that. So it's like, and they're clearly aware of what's going on. Like, oh, Captain America, like, is dead. Like, okay, is he really dead though? I mean, so it's like, or Tony Stark is dead. Like, I don't know. It's just rather interesting to me. So,
Yeah, I don't know. Like it was just trying to be epic, and I was just like, I'm not feeling the epicness. So we'll
yeah,
see.
and like I said, for me, it was a change, which was nice. But like you said, there were parts of it that I had to question. I'm like, where the hell were you all this time then? But I guess
That's like
that's what you watched the movie for. I
but
guess I don't know.
that's like saying Captain Marvel. Where were you this time? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we know where she was,
Well,
saving
remember
other planets.
she was getting a haircut. That's what she was getting a
Oh my
haircut.
god, that's
Buzz
true.
cut. That
So
was the
true.
best line.
So true.
Anyway,
But yeah, no, I wanted to. The other piece of news, and I think you're going to cover, is around gaming. Didn't they just announce like there's going to be a like virtual? Is it going to be virtual or live?
I was virtual, unfortunately. So let me dive into it. I think the biggest recent news was the well, specifically what Microsoft said, but E3, they've announced the actually weird. Like E3 is like an event. It's an event, of course, it's an event. E3 is an event where it used to be where all of these companies would come in and market their games, have this big powwow, and now with the everyone's favorite virus that never goes away, the they've had to go digital, which I think we gave our thoughts to the Microsoft one. It was a challenge. It's all a challenge, right? You're trying to make all this presentation. And it's not, you lose that crowd, that energy that people had, the fans, and I think they tried. They did a good try. I mean, but that being said, um, let's see. The EA has announced theirs. Let's see. There's the Summer Game Fest. Interestingly, Sony has not announced that they were going to be there for the E3 week, which
Mm.
I found fascinating. They actually they're doing these whole state of plays, which are not really, they don't have a, they just announce it when they're going to do it. And I mean, the last one where they showed Horizon Forbidden West had a lot of good reviews. I didn't really get to see the gameplay, but I mean, the graphics look great. It's funny how they're getting killed by people saying, "Hey, they made Aloy, the main character, look like she looks a little bit like she ate a bit." Like there was a comparison picture, and I don't know if it was doctored, but it was like her face in the first game, and then the second game, her face like chipmunk cheek. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, it's kind of weird. Like they did that, and I thought they changed it back. I just thought it was funny, but some people took offense about it. Some people had a fun joke with it, and obviously the main meat of it was Xbox and Bethesda's doing a joint conference, and it's a 90-minute show. It's going to be June 13th, Sunday, June 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I guess for us, and especially Sony's really not announced anything, or I may have missed it. What do you like? What are you thinking about this? Like, I listen to podcasters, and it's interesting. They're like saying that with the pandemic, a lot of folks have been having trouble, working right
Yeah.
digitally, and some jobs like you can work remotely, and then some jobs, which I kind of understand. I hear like game development's harder because, like for example, your supercomputer that you need to program your
Mhm.
game isn't there. It's at the
Mhm.
office. Like I get. Like, what do you think? Like, should we get hyped on this because this is both Xbox and Bethesda? Or do you think that this 90 minutes is we're gonna have the vacuum game, the vacuum cleaner game,
Oh God, please.
or are we
I'm
gonna actually
gonna
get good
temper,
stuff?
yeah, I'm gonna temper my expectations. I wanted to answer you and say, I honestly wanted to be like, oh, this is awesome. This is their first press conference post the buyout, if you will. So there's, to me, you know what I mean? I wanted to be positive about it. I will say one thing is that like this is the best. They have to lead with their best foot on this one because I feel like this is going to be the temperature gauge for a lot of people as to what's to come. So I feel like they're going to be careful and cautious, but I feel because I think they still owe some games. Bethesda still owes some games that are exclusive, and there's still the question about what's going to be just for Xbox, what's going straight to Game Pass, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of questions that I think they have to come ready to answer, or at least show something, because everybody's been asking about it, and it's been would this be not quite a year after the announcement, but this is one of those situations where if you're going to do a joint press conference, you better show up with something. You better show up with news, and you better show up like as a joint, like the communication needs to be like spot on between both of them since it's a joint conference. I'm assuming that they're still going through the growing pains of absorbing, you know what I mean? So I think that's going to be what I'm looking for. I hope they don't show up with the vacuum cleaner game and waste my time, because I would be I would be really disappointed.
You want that Halo life, right?
Oh my God, yeah. So I think if anything they learned from last year, don't show up um and give something half-heartedly. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
and then
you missed the prior. I think it was that or the 2 years ago, right? There was there one of the games they showed was not the it was a game where you're a deer and you have a baby deer and you're trying to get through this. I don't know if it's a post-apocalyptic landscape, but you're basically a deer. So
oh my
if
God.
you thought the vacuum cleaner was bad, that was a really bad, like the deer game. I'll
Oh my
never forget it.
God.
Like I get Microsoft wants to be diverse and give these small indies their due, but sometimes you're just like, can you give me a better game than that? So
Oh
I
my
just that was
God.
with the vacuum cleaner game. Like, and it probably is a good game if you're into that. I agree with you. That was a letdown.
But yeah, so but to answer your question, I originally thought that it would be easier for them to work virtually because they work on laptops, they work on computers, they work alone on a lot of things. But to your point, now that I think really hard about it after watching Mythic Quest, and I've been talking about Mythic Quest to you a lot because I really enjoy it. But I think there's some truth to it because I know Ubisoft backs this Apple TV show, and I literally just I love the fact that it kind of peels back the layer behind what goes on, and like the people in art versus the people in creative versus they can't function without being in the same room with each other. So it's like, and then the back and forth that seems to happen with like how it gets interpreted, like artwork, like is not as easy as you think. Like the person who's working creative is giving you a vision, and you're supposed to translate that vision into something that's in an ecosystem that's like in a video game, like, and if it doesn't, you spend hours on it and hours on it coding it, but if it doesn't get translated, if you don't get the right like connection with the creative person who's describing it to you, it's not going to happen, and you're going to just create more work for yourself and your team. So I really do think in that sort of environment, it actually aids the work. It actually helps the work to be in the same room and hashing things out, testing things out together, that sort of relationship. And I can see how it becomes difficult to execute something so simple. Like if someone described to you a castle that they wanted in the next, expansion, and you deliver something totally different. So, like I said, I at first was under the impression, because I work from home too, and like it, I will say there were some growing pains and challenges, but eventually it was like, okay, fine. But I realized I work with people all over the world. But for people who don't work with people all over the world, it becomes something that's like critical that you be able to connect in a way that is like actually in person. So yeah, I think that I'm kind of sad that it's virtual. Like I was hoping that, you know, things would somewhat get back to normal. And it's interesting because like the things I'm seeing and hearing is that things are getting back to normal, but it feels like on certain levels it's not, because I don't know that people are back at the office yet. I think a lot of these things are getting delayed. You see movies getting delayed, you see release dates getting delayed because we're not really back 100% like we think we are. I feel like there's parts of the media that says we are, everything's 100%, everything's open, but when I go out, it's not the case. It's like, oh, you don't have to wear a mask, but when I go somewhere, I do have to wear a mask because it says it there. So it's a very confusing situation we live in right now, but like what I'm trying to say is I I guess I thought it was changing and we were becoming more open, but the reality is I think we're still in the same spot. And I think that's going to impact what's happening. And it shows in the fact that this is a virtual event still and it's the summer. It will be interesting to see what the winter brings because that's when everyone thinks everything's truly getting back to normal. But I don't know. That's going to be the test.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hold my expectations with the E3 week, but I will temper my expectations, even though it sucks because I think there's a lot to be excited for with gaming, but I mean there's just so many things affecting not just like with the gaming thing where not only you've got um, the programming of the games and building and developing them, but also like for those who haven't got the next generation systems or wanting to even upgrade their PCs, those people trying to upgrade their graphics card, they're probably either fighting crypto miners or they're trying to get through the semiconductor shortages, and obviously
Yeah,
defense systems have logistical things
crazy.
as well. It's crazy. Um, One thing I forgot that actually is relates to games, but also comics and movies. We didn't talk about the AT&T, did we?
Oh my God, we did not.
AT&T selling it off to Discovery.
And we didn't even talk about Amazon.
Oh Jesus. so quick,
It's been so long.
quick thing, right? So we talked about AT&T a little bit, right? Where they were cost cutting ruthlessly,
Yes.
and we talked about the DC, especially the comic books and all that stuff. It's a lot of speculation right now, but do you think it's going to be painful for the DC Comics division?
I think so, but they took a really big, gigantic cut already. I
Yeah,
don't know that
they
I don't
wrote
know that
down.
there's anything left, but
But they wrote down that, but basically, with it, they sold it. They bought it for more than they sold it for. That's all I know, or spun it
yeah,
out. Um,
yeah.
but
No, they did, and I just don't know. I think they wanted the property that came along with it, but man, I don't know that it's over, like the
mm,
cuts. So it's
oh
kind of
yeah,
sad, but I do think they're running thin already. Personally, they might just exit. I don't know if they're just going to exit a lot of the titles that they have today and just
well, think about
focus
it.
on,
DC,
Batman, Superman.
yeah, DC Comics have told their best stories, right? Just to say that we've said that about Marvel, right? All the best stories are done. Given what we've heard
Hmm.
about with Marvel's thing, Marvel, we joke about that, and then there's the Warner Brothers as the gaming division, right?
Hmm.
Effectively, I don't know if what is it called, Discovery now or something like that.
Yeah.
That new company, I don't know if they want to focus on video games. They'll probably spin that out too, right?
Yep.
And then Crunchyroll is AT&T, right?
I thought it was.
Oh, geez, this is gonna be a nightmare for that group. And you know, did they squash that Funimation AT&T Crunchyroll, didn't they?
I haven't heard anything more on it.
Because I thought they
So,
said it was Monopoly. That's why,
oh, that makes sense then.
which is true. It's the biggest two, and then you
Hmm.
have like these smaller ones like High Five or something like that. I saw that, that's basically all of Sentai's
Mm-hmm.
anime. They basically almost made that exclusive, and Hulu gets it timed from time to time. So I mean, that's one thing, and we're gonna have to report that as the news, as the juicy news comes, right? But then the other thing
Mm-hmm.
that you talked about was Amazon just buying James
I
Bond,
can't believe I totally forgot about this,
which
but yeah.
totally fits because if you think about it, with the way that they're going with this James Bond, where they're replacing him the way that they are, and Phoebe Waller Bridge is doing the writing.
Oh God.
You know, is it's so Jeff Bezos, isn't it?
It really is. And I will say this though, the one positive is, and you're a big fan of that show, Jack Ryan.
Love it.
So and it's an Amazon show. And they just did a Tom Clancy show with oh my gosh, the guy on from Black Panther. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
Wait, sorry. Yeah, the other Tom Clancy show.
Yes,
I
yes,
never got
yes.
to watch that.
Without Remorse. So like I
Yes.
said, I just feel like Michael B. Jordan. I just feel like they actually translate action films or action-esque, situations in a good way. So I have interest. I have concerns about some of the people they've tagged to this project, but I feel like overall it might translate okay, but it's very Bezos, like you said.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's one thing if it's Hollywood, but it's like I kind of worry that Amazon's basically just a bunch of tech people, Silicon Valley determining what entertainment should be. I mean, granted, they're already doing it right now, which is why we're seeing the things we see. It's I don't know. It's just a lot of power with Amazon, Netflix, and that's it. Am I missing somebody?
Oh, Apple TV,
Oh
Hulu.
yeah, Apple TV, and Hulu. Yeah, I guess I count.
And
those
who
too.
owns HBO Max? I think it's AT&T actually. I want to say it's AT&T that owns HBO Max, to be honest with you. Um, so you can't like knock them. Although they went down the other night because the show, The Mayor of Easttown, which takes place in Delaware County, PA, actually was the finale aired yesterday and it crashed. Like HBO Max crashed during the finale and people got so pissed. It just goes to show you have to have the right infrastructure or that crap's gonna happen. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean I get it. I think the situation for me is that Amazon has too much power in the sense of everything. Like they want to be the internet version of Walmart. Walmart wants to be Amazon plus Walmart. So it's like when's Walmart going to get in on it? Remember Walmart used to have Voodoo. I mean, I give them credit. They foresaw this situation with streaming a long time ago, but they never doubled down on it. So they missed it, but that's not their core competency. They're not going to go and do what Jeff Bezos just did because it's not their core competency. But with Amazon, it's like, oh, I can launch rockets too. I can go and do my own deliveries. I don't need the mail. I don't need UPS. I can create my own mail system. I don't need. It's like eventually he will be, or not he, but Amazon will be what, back in the day when Wall-E, I don't know if you remember that movie from Pixar, but like everything was Wall-E World, which was like a play on Walmart, because Walmart has its hand in everything. But it's really Amazon now. Like when you think about it, Amazon made their Wall-E World made their food. Wall-E World did this. Wall-E World, like everything was Wall-E World, and like that was all the people knew on the ship. And Wally World created the spaceships that they were on. Wally World created the hovercrafts they were using. Like, it's insane. So Amazon wants to be Wally World, to be honest with you, which is scarier because everyone thought that that was Walmart, but it's not. It's actually Amazon. Like, now they want to control the airwaves. Like, they want to control the digital. I mean, pretty soon they should just be selling cable. They should start selling cable. They should start selling, like, I mean, what else could they sell? That's what he wants, Amazon to be everything. And man, it's pretty scary if it's true because, pretty soon you could book a ticket to ride to the moon on Amazon's spaceship. It's like, yeah, fun times.
Yep. Cool. I think then before we go, we have a little segment in honor of Memorial Day. We were just wanted to talk about. I'm gonna ask you, Olympia. Maybe a couple of movies in the theme of the military that shout outs like they kind of resonate to you, right? Some of the things that
Yeah, no,
yeah.
because Memorial Day is a time of remembrance and things like that. And I'm not trying to make it funny, but I think of war movies and, I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but Pearl Harbor comes to mind. I thought it did a great job of like reenacting a major event during, World War II and like weaving in a story, like actually a love story in between it all. It was kind of sad though because like she was in love with the one guy and ends up with Ben Affleck, but she's pregnant with
Mhm.
the one guy's kid or something like that, which was kind of crazy. But I don't know, I just thought it depicted war in the sense of like what happens and how lives can change and how even relationships change because like you don't know what's going to happen. And so especially during that time, I don't know, it just makes you think and makes you be grateful that you know that we live in a different world where some of those things hopefully can be prevented, just the things that they went through, like even like the fact that the women were helping in the hospital. And so it's just interesting to me from a when you think about it. Other movies, I mean, military wise, like I have not seen a lot of the good military movies. I will say, like, I have never seen Platoon. I've never seen The Thin Red Line. Um, I do I do remember seeing parts of Hurt Locker, but not all of it. There was also another film about a soldier, and I think it was Aaron Taylor Johnson, right? I don't know, but like he was in it. Natalie Portman was in it too. Is that the Hurt Locker? I can't remember, but he comes back from war and he's like suffering from PTSD. So it's like, I don't know, it made me think about, even if you do end up surviving, you still carry a lot of the aftermath, the aftershocks of what
So,
you've gone through. And
wait. So you said you're talking about Hurt Locker, right?
was it the Hurt Locker? There was another film, and I think it was with Natalie Portman, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and someone else. I don't think it was the Hurt Locker, but I do remember another film where he was like his brother, like he was gone at war all this time, and he came back, and she
Yeah,
was his wife.
that's not Hurt Locker.
No,
Uh,
that's not Hurt Locker, but I said there was another movie. It was with him, but I remember the Hurt Locker, but this is another movie. I don't
you want to
remember.
know something funny about Hurt Locker? Because I was actually thinking of that too. Jeremy Renner, right? Anthony Mackie, Evangeline Lilly. Isn't that the actress for um, Wasp?
Yeah,
I was just,
yeah.
I just thought that was an interesting coincidence. Um, but yeah, no, that won an award, didn't it? Catherine Bigelow won an award with that.
I think so. An
Nine
Academy
Academy
Award.
Awards, nominated, won 6, including Best Picture. And I have to say, it was actually pretty intense. Like, so Hurt Locker is about a guy who does bomb disposals in Iraq, and I mean it talks about like the IEDs, um, and all that. Like it was just how like people were just like the unit. There was the tensions in the unit, and then there was just coming back home, and he was just never the same. And then he just went back like he should have like enjoyed life with his family and his infant son. He just wanted to go back and serve because he just needed that thrill. It was weird.
Yeah. Oh no, it was Jake Gyllenhaal. I got it mixed up. It was called Brothers, and
Okay.
he like came back home from the war and blah blah blah. But anyway, yeah, no, Hurt Locker. I remember won many awards. Um, like I said, it's the other one was Zero Dark 30, which was an interesting concept because it was like retelling like about the SEAL team, and then um the other one that does come to mind, and I'm not trying to be funny, but like Rambo, because I think of Rambo as, Vietnam. I think of the Vietnam War when I think of Rambo, and like I just think of how like I said earlier, like you may come out of it alive, but you're not really the same. And so I think Memorial Day is in memory too of people who did get out of it and like still are dealing with the pains of it. I mean, I think
It's the
of
people that got left behind in the unit, right? Like people
yeah.
who they're the survivor. It's interesting. Another to add to that list, Black Hawk Down was one that
Hmm.
I watched it a bit younger. It was really intense about the whole. It's based on a true story.
Hmm.
Somalia, where obviously the helicopter went down, and they were just ambushed, and they were just pinned down at night, and people died. It was an 18-hour urban firefight. I'm kind of reading the Smithsonian Magazine, a true account, right? And yeah, they were just stringing up Americans, killing them in Somalia, and they were just, you know, it was just, it was just a cluster F. And the way that the movie showed it was, yeah, that was insane. Like for me, when my younger years, it was like, whoa, this is like, it's not games. It's not these glorified video games where you got like 500 rounds of ammo and you can take 5 shots before you need to find a health pack. No,
Hmm.
it's real, right?
Hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
give Call of Duty credit; they do really capture a lot of that feeling and that war movies do. But it it's that idea that you're like you get shot, you're not like finding a med pack and then going on and doing it again. Um, but yeah, that was like one. Obviously, another one is Saving Private Ryan, where that movie was interesting. There was an entire unit that literally went to the front lines to pull Matt. Wasn't it Matt Damon?
I
Like,
don't remember.
like Matt Damon. So it was like Tom Hanks and his crew was sent to bring back Private Ryan, who was in the front line because I think he was the last surviving male. I think there was a rule where you couldn't if you had like one male you couldn't send them because it was like a line, the family line.
Mm.
So yeah, they pulled him back. They went through all this crap to pull Private Ryan out. Private Ryan made them stay because obviously they were trying to hold something, and the entire unit died, saving Private Ryan. That was just that's what I remembered of it. Could be totally wrong, but that I just thought that was a crazy one where they just went through all this to pull one person out.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I think I'm probably now thinking about this one. I probably want to check out Dunkirk in 1917. I haven't
Yeah,
seen those.
1917 is good. I remember it back when we went to the comic convention and they had a lot of information. They had like a booth, a big booth about it, and like I remember that. I heard good things about it. It
I
was like a
heard yeah, they
limited
basically
release.
shot it. They basically shot it in one pane, I think, is what it is. There's
Nice.
just like one continuous camera going through.
Mm,
But World War One's everyone does things on World War II, but World War I is one of the few like it's not as like explored upon. So it's interesting. That was the beginning of trench warfare, and yeah, people just going through and trying to cross over, right? And that and the machine gun,
mm-hmm.
the advent of those two things, and we ended up getting tanks to get over the line. It's just
Mm-hmm.
a lot of war stuff that go beyond you and I.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
that said, we'll end it there. And I hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. So and got together with family and things like
Yep.
that. That being said, hope you like our content. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Also, we are on Twitter at Justice Sith. And so, with that said, see you all on the Sith side.
Peace out.